to God. The white man is the God.
See, I've been in here for a little minute. You know what I'm saying? And I see niggas, they like to talk a lot. They like to claim leadership. They like to claim this and that. You know what I'm saying? They like to be above what they really is and have authority. But they don't really need that authority. They don't really know what to do with that leadership. You understand? You hold hands with this boy, your ass need to stop it. I.S.U.P.K. Give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. See, everybody ain't with all that peace talk. Everybody ain't with all that bygone be. Boy, your ass need to stop it. I.S.U.P.K. prophets. My niggas serious. Boy, when they hit us with dope and kill us with crack, where the fuck with your leaders? I'm curious. You cashed out on your blood, traded you in and bought a new beast. Ask you the prophets, I tell you the scheme. If you wake up, you gon' die in your dreams. I say you won't tell you no more. I swear these crackers try to kill us slow. Just spoke to a nigga and fed he up on parole because of the COVID. It feel like the hoes in this world that don't go together. Know it's gold in the ghetto. I'm in the city blazing with my niggas. Just told the devil the score never settled. See the props. I'm tired of these niggas keep talking about, you know, you respect my religion, I respect your religion. Boy, your ass need to stop it. I.S.U.P.K. the props. You know, like we all come together. You know what I'm saying? They say God so loved the world. God so loved the world, and no, boy, your ass need to stop it. I.S.U.P.K. Don't give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe. You gotta stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. Hey, gentlemen, y'all, we don't pray on our knees, nigga. Gotta stand up. You know what I'm saying? Boy, your ass need to stop it. I.S.U.P.K. Oh, I'm gonna step up silent for show. For the fake niggas, stay silent. I got it. Let's go. Let's go. I ain't taking no loss. Ain't no talking when we got the flow. Ain't no peace, just play with your own. I'ma be loyal to the right arm. Tell them we can't keep it slate. And I can never let bygone be bygone. Got you, baby mother on high. Your baby pass through the fire. I.S.U.P.K. prophets. That baby soul belong to the Lord. How dare you abort it? Never will fail you, bitch. I can afford it. I prepare slaughter, you bring me my water. Push your leaders weak, let them lies slip through their teeth. Their ass need to stop it. I.S.U.P.K. prophets.
That's just the reality, Christians. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings. I know your pastor lied to you every Sunday for 30 years. Right. But that's what the church is for, lying. That's why they exist to lie the money out of your pockets.
Boy, your ass need to stop it. I.S.U.P.K. Give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Gotta stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga.
All right. Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Shem Yashai Brakatha. Yahweh Shemal Athan Bashim Yashai, all the sisters. Shalom, Canada. I'm Priest and Officer Shar Yawan under Commanding General YAHANNA. And we are the I.S.U.P.K, which was started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. All right. Today is Tuesday's night brotherhood class. All right, Tuesday's night brotherhood class. Every Tuesday night, brothers in the I.S.U.P.K are teaching brotherhood to our people being Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right, if you're tuned in, make sure you hit those sign-in links. The sign-in links are in the chat. All right. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and our I.S.U.P.K Canada Facebook page. All right, make sure you share this video, share this word, help get the truth out. All right. This word is very important for our people. All right, very important for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because we are living in hell over here in North and South Central America. We've been living in hell for over 400 years under our oppressor in the land of our captivity. We've been here for far too long. You understand? And this was a punishment of the Most High. This was a punishment on his children. His children being Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. His children being the nation of Israel. We've been living in hell because we disobeyed the Most High. All right. We can start in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. Really quick, we'll pull out 28 and verse 15. Right, and it says, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God." Right, when it says, "But it shall come to pass," this is the Most High letting you know that it is going to happen. It shall come to pass. All right. And this is letting you know this is something that will happen in the future. All right. This was written thousands of years ago. It says, "If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God." You understand? If thou wilt not hearken, if you will not listen, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man, if you will not listen to the voice of the Lord, your power, Yahweh, right? Your power being, that is your authority. Yahweh is your authority. He is in charge of what you do, of what you can and can't do. You understand? And many times in the scriptures, we refer to him as a father. All right? Again, this class being brotherhood, the best way to think of brotherhood is to think of a family. Think blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We are brothers and sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins. And our authority is the Most High. He is our Father, Yahweh in the Hebrew. And he was giving us laws, statutes, and commandments. He gave blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans orders to follow, to obey. And these orders that he gave us were for our benefit. He says, "If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day." He told blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that you need to listen to me, and you need to keep all my laws, statutes, and commandments. Everything that Moses told blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He said, if you do not observe to do these, it says that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. You understand? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we're in a covenant with the Most High, an agreement, a contract. He is our father, we are his children. And just like a good father, he disciplines his children when they go off. A good father will disobey his children when they don't obey him. When he tells them, don't put their hand on the stove, don't run out in the middle of the road, come home before it gets dark. Right? A father gives you orders, things to do to make sure he keeps you safe. Tells you who to hang out with and who not to hang out with. Right? And the Most High told us, if we don't listen, curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And we were overtaken as a people. The children of Israel were overtaken, and that's why we're over here living in this hell that we're in. The Christian church would have you believe that hell is some place underground where you go and burn for eternity. You understand? Because the Christian church teaches you lies. They teach you fairy tales. They don't teach you the truth of the Bible. Right? When you read through this book, you see that this is the book of the law, right? It says in Baruch chapter 4:1, this is the book of the law. This book is our constitution. It's the constitution of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. It says in the book of Numbers, that these are the records. This is the book of the records of our wars. Understand? When we read through this Bible, we see the records of the wars that the nation of Israel won. Right? You read about the book of Maccabees. You read in Exodus. Right? You read about the different wars that we won. Right? In Kings, in the book of Samuel. Right? All these different books. We read about the wars. The wars that the nation of Israel won. The wars that we lost. Right? That's what this Bible is about. It's the history of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. It's our records. It's our constitution. You understand? This Bible is not a fairy tale. The Bible is not some mythological book, some fantasy book, some Harry Potter book. This is the book of the law. This is the book of the history of the Israelites, of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And because we chose to disobey as a people, right, we had these curses that fell upon us. All right. I got an article I'm going to share. This article is on a woman who, I guess she's seeking some type of reparations for what happened to her in the residential schools. She was a sister, an indigenous sister who we know is from the tribe of Gad. All right. This woman experienced all types of hell, all types of foul things, all type of chaos, destruction, um, misery, torment, abuse. This woman went through a whole bunch of things, right? She went through a whole bunch of things, and she is seeking reparations for all the things that have been coming out with these residential schools. All right. So this article is it is from CBC News Canada. They titled it "The Burden of Proof." All right. They titled it "The Burden of Proof." It says, after the residential school in Nova Scotia closed in the late 60s, Debbie Paul was kidnapped by a nun and brought to a white family in the U.S. She always told people this, but was missing the evidence until now. All right. CBC lets you know, warning, this story contains distressing details. All right. What this woman went through is something that nobody should have to go through. What this woman went through, that nobody on earth should have to go through this. And the people that put her through this need to pay for the things that they've done. Right? Like not too long ago, Thanksgiving just passed. You had people giving thanks to God for slaughtering the native Indians. This is what people are doing come Thanksgiving. They're thanking God for the slaughter of the native Indians, the slaughter of the children of Israel, the slaughter of the children of Gad. And what you're telling native Indians, what you're telling the children of Gad, what you're telling this woman in this story is that God doesn't love you. God doesn't care about you. And this is what we've been told as a people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Because we see how everybody else is living, and it's easy to say that God loves them. It's easy to say that God loves the white man. This is how we view things. Because look at how they're living. You understand? I know some people in Canada who they wanted to leave going to the black church. They didn't want to go to the black church anymore. They want to go to the white church. They want to go to the white church. They want to go to the mixed church because over there they see blessings. They see people who are in order. They see people who have got their lives together. They see people who they think that God is blessing. They believe God is blessing the white church. And they don't come out and say it, but that's what they think because that's what they see. They see white people riding around in yachts. They see the white church bigger than government buildings, bigger than parliament buildings, right? The amount of land they get, the amount of things they build up with all their wealth in that white church, they look at those church like, man, God must be there because God is blessing them. That's what some of our people believe. You understand? Which isn't anything that the scriptures say, right? If you go to the book of Amos, You go to the book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 2, it says, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. What Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans need to understand is that the Most High loves you because he is punishing you. He is punishing you for the wicked things that you do. He's not worried about what the so-called white man is doing. He's not worried about how the Africans are living. He's not worried about how the Asians are living. The Most High told you, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man, not to eat pork. He told you, black man, not to celebrate Christmas. He told you, Hispanic man, not to celebrate New Year's. You understand? He told the children of Israel not to do these things, to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, because you are a holy people. You are separate from the rest of this world. And you are the only nation of people that I'm dealing with. You are the only family on this earth that I know. It says, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans got to wake up and understand what this punishment is. We got to understand that we have not been listening to our Father. We have not been obeying our Father. And we need to come back to him, keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. We need to come back to our culture, come back to our way of life. Because following these other nations is destroying us. All right, this article goes on to read, standing at the site of the former I.S.U.P.K Indian residential school in Nova Scotia, Debbie Paul clutches a black and white picture of herself taken when it shut down in June 1967. All right, that was nothing but 50 years ago. Paul was the last Mi'kmaq student to leave. This picture was taken to give my mother, and my mother never received it, said Paul, who lived in the I.S.U.P.K First Nation, just 5 kilometers away from the former residential school. Right? So this woman, Debbie Paul, she took a picture so that she could send back to her mother, send back to her parents. She took it to give her mother, and she said her mother never received it. In this photo, she is 12 years old, wearing new shoes and a new watch, unaware her life was about to take an incredible turn. Rather than return Paul to her mother, a nun with the Sisters of Charity, Halifax took her without consent to live with a white family in the United States. Now, if you don't know, these residential schools were run by the Catholic Church. All right. These residential schools were run by the Catholic Church. They had Catholic priests, and they had nuns in those schools teaching these kids, quote unquote, looking after these kids, re-assimilating these kids into society, teaching them how to act, teaching them how to behave, teaching them how to be a good Catholic, teaching them how to integrate with their oppressors. These schools were run by the Catholic Church, and they were funded by the Canadian government, meaning supported by the Canadian government. Canadian government said, this is a good thing. We're going to support this. We're going to support what you do to these children. And this article says, rather than returning Debbie Paul to her mother, a nun with the Sisters of Charity, Halifax took her without consent to live with a white family in the United States. Since 1969, the I.S.U.P.K has been saying the Christian church is the house of Satan. This nun stole a 12-year-old girl. Instead of returning this 12-year-old girl to her parents, this nun kidnapped this child. Kidnapped this 12-year-old girl. That is the product of the Catholic Church. We've been reading about all the last couple of weeks, talking about Christmas, talking about New Year's, talking about the evils of these false gods, the evils of these religions, the wickedness that goes on in the Catholic Church. We talk about these things nonstop. This is what the Catholic Church produces. A grown woman following this religion, following this cult, actually believes that it's okay to take a 12-year-old girl. Everybody in jail is Christian. Everybody in jail is Muslim. You want to stop crime? You want to stop kidnapping? You need to change the belief system of the people. This is what the Catholic Church produces. Some grown woman who believes it's okay to kidnap a 12-year-old girl. And if you don't know, read up about all the things that they did in these residential schools. This is one of many. Not only one of many, these things go on today. The last residential school, I think, was shut down. Was shut down in the 80s. It might have been 1996, if I'm not mistaken. Shut down in the 90s. That was a residential school in Brantford. The people that did these things are alive and well today. The people that did these things had kids, raised these kids, and they are sitting right beside you today. Somebody's mother was a nun who stole a 12-year-old girl from a residential school. That's just one of the things that went on in these schools. I'm not going to read this whole article, but I'm going to let a video from this article play just to get a better idea of this daughter of Zion's story.
I'm back here. I'm speaking for us. We didn't lose.
Again, just to clarify for YouTube, the I.S.U.P.K does not own the rights to this video. This is from the CBC News. CBC News Canada. You can go to CBC News Canada and look up this story. And in this story, you will see this video.
And we're not lost. We're not lost anymore.
When the Shubenacadie Residential School in Nova Scotia shut down in 1967, Debbie Paul was the last Mi'kmaq student to leave.
This picture was taken and was supposed to be given to my mother to say that she's all right.
Debbie is 12 years old in this photo. Her life was about to take an incredible turn.
They took me. They took me without permission.
5 decades ago, Debbie's fate was decided by a nun at the residential institution.
Man, that woman was mean. Strict, very strict.
Sister Gilberta. Her real name was Eleanor Keller, a nun since the 1940s, listed as disciplinarian of girls.
We were singing, one little, two little, three little Indians. Actually, she called us savages, and she should have written there, one little, two little, three little savages.
This is who you are, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. This is how these people view you. This is how these people view us. 1969, some nun, some self-proclaimed righteous woman following the Catholic Church. You understand? This is the devil the Bible speaks of. Sitting here claiming to be righteous. Looking at a daughter of Zion saying, one little, two little, three little savages. These are the songs they were singing to these kids in the residential schools. One little, two little, three little savages. This is how these people view you. You understand? The Canadian government supported this nonsense. The Canadian government supported the Catholic Church, supported these residential schools. And this is the kind of abuse that went on in these schools. This is the kind of abuse that this sister had to take. To be told she's a savage. You understand? Don't tell me that the Hispanics and the native Indians aren't the children of Israel. Right? All you fake Israelite camps out there saying that Hispanics and Native Indians aren't the children of Israel. We know who we are because of Deuteronomy chapter 28. We know who we are because we understand that we fit the curses. Everything that Moses told the children of Israel what they would go through, we go through. All the different prophecies in Isaiah, Ezekiel, Jeremiah. Jeremiah said that we would discontinue from our heritage. We wouldn't know who we were as a people. We would start speaking a bastard tongue in a land where the people who rule over us hate us, set traps for us. They kill us in the streets. They hunt us in the streets. Read Joel 3:3. All the different prophecies that are in this Bible regarding blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Don't tell me that this sister right here isn't a daughter of Zion. She was told that she was a savage. I grew up going to school in the 90s. I thought that my people were savages. You understand? I didn't grow up going to school in a residential school. I grew up going to the public schools in Canada. Did some high school in Florida. I went to school in North America. And I was taught that my people were the savages. My people were uneducated. My people didn't have a God. My people didn't have a good culture. My people needed to be civilized. We didn't know how to use a knife and a fork. We didn't know how to use a toilet. had to sit at a table and eat properly. But we were living in some forest somewhere, swinging off trees. That's what I was taught. That was my Black history. That's what I learned over here in Canada. And it's no different than this sister right here. These people are disgusting, man. These people that are over us are disgusting. And this Bible tells you exactly who Esau is. Exactly who this wicked bastard is. All the evils that he devises in his heart. The hatred he has for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Telling us that we're the uneducated ones. Meanwhile, building this country. Coming up with every good invention in this country. These people are disgusting, man. Salakia. That is the face of the devil that the Bible speaks of. You understand? Those nuns are the devil that the Bible speaks of. And because of this religion, our people are destroyed. Our people actually believe that being a good Catholic or being a good Christian is going to save us. This is the nonsense that they pushed on us.
Sister Gilberta also directed the choir, and Debbie had musical talent.
Debbie Paul won high praise for her vocal solo,
noted in the records of the Sisters of Charity.
Instead of me going back to the reserve, she thought that I should live with her brother and his wife out in Rockland, Mass. to continue my music.
When the Shubenacadie institution closed, Sister Gilberta snuck the 12-year-old out of the country without telling her family. Debbie was then abandoned with the nun's brother and his wife, John and Mary Wentworth, in Rockland, Massachusetts.
What would you call, like what she did in terms of taking you and putting you on a plane and bringing you to Rockland? What do you call it?
Theft.
Damn right. That's exactly what that's called. That is called theft. You take a 12-year-old and you bring them across the country, that is called theft.
Theft.
Debbie went from the trauma of residential school to what's known as the 60 scoop, a practice of removing Indigenous kids from their families and cultures and putting them in foster care or up for adoption. 2 years ago, she filed a claim for compensation from Canada.
I think I deserve it to live the end of my life because I went through hell.
Her claim was officially rejected. Debbie appealed.
Please send us more information on the length of time and location of your placement. I did that. And I have no proof. None. No records. They have no records. Going to Rockland, Massachusetts, checking the town records, doing all that. That's my paperwork.
Debbie needs proof, and she can't find it in Canada. And she wonders why the onus is on her and not the church or government or 60 scoop lawyers. So she's chasing a paper trail and memories of a place where she was vulnerable and alone. But she's ready.
I feel good. I feel good. I'm not a kid anymore. I'm not a kid anymore.
You made it.
Hi there. Made it anyway.
Welcome to
To
Rockland.
Rockland. There
There it is.
Rockland, Massachusetts, 30 minutes outside of Boston.
Does it feel strange to be back?
It does. It does.
First stop, the town library. We've requested a property search for 1968 to find the Wentworths.
Go to Myrtle Street. Here they are at 104.
John D. Wentworth, 104.
There, in black and white, John and Mary Wentworth. An important confirmation of what Debbie has said all along.
So now this sister, kept getting denied any type of reparations because they were saying she had no proof. She didn't have any proof of what she went through. She didn't have any proof that her story was real. And what's crazy to think is that the Canadian government wouldn't believe her. Salaki, when I say crazy, I don't mean that in the sense of it's unbelievable. I say it in the sense of, again, this is just showing you the character of these people. You hear about the atrocities that happen in these residential schools. And you're going to sit there and deny somebody's claim because you say you don't believe them? What, you don't believe that she was raped? You don't believe that she was molested? You don't believe that she was stolen? That she was mistreated? You don't believe that the monsters that were running these residential schools could do the things that happened to her? No, the Canadian government is disgusting. These judges that are in office are disgusting. Look at everything that's happened on these schools. These bodies popping up that were just all these 8-year-old, 9-year-old kids who died because they froze to death. Bodies being found next to lakes. All of the molestation that happened inside those schools. Some of these boarding schools had damn near had electric chairs inside of them. Electric chairs inside of a school where little kids go. They didn't believe this sister's story. No, they don't want to give this sister reparations because they don't care about the things that she went through. And so this sister, lucky enough to have the means to be able to go and travel, to have the support of this journalist to go with her and dig up the story about her life. Dig up the story about the things that happened to her. She was able to go to this library. Salaki. She was able to go to this library. Stop. She was able to go to this library, and you just saw that clear as day. These are the Wentworths. Maybe her story checks out a bit.
You have reached your destination on the left.
John and Mary Wentworth both died years ago. But Debbie's painful memories are fresh.
He said not to say anything, but that's part of my chores. Ironing, cleaning, and letting this man feel me up, I guess you can call it. I was 12 years old. Those were my chores.
What does it do 5 decades later for you to stand here and look at the house?
It helps to heal, to face it, not to be scared of it, to face it, to look at it and look at it in the face and says, yeah, I faced it today.
The pieces are falling in place, but Debbie still needs documentation to show she was here as a young teen. We head to the Rockland Public School. In 1968, Debbie felt like an outsider, rejected. Today, a much different experience with an administrator keen to help,
Oh, good, good. Thank you.
who dug through old files in the school vault.
Oh my God, I got my school records.
Let's see.
Finally, proof she was under the guardianship of John.
Barakatha Yahweh Yahweh Shai. You read Luke chapter 12 and verse 2, it says, "For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known." You understand? There is nothing that you do that will not come to light. There is no evil that will not come to light. The Most High has been showing blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans all the evils of this people. There it is clear as day that she went to this school and her guardians were the Wentworths. This sister was able to find the proof that she needed. Or Salaki, I'm not even saying that she needed, she was able to find proof. She was able to find proof that her story checks out. And this proof is for you, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. The scriptures, they say that the son of perdition will be revealed. The evil, the wicked ones on this earth will be revealed. And this is just more revealing on who this devil is. Nobody can take this sister's story from her and say that she wasn't kidnapped at the age 12, brought over the Canadian border into the Americas, brought into this little town where these people would, quote unquote, take care of her. Where she said she was molested, mistreated, abused. Because again, this nun believed in her heart that she had to assimilate this savage into society. She had to kill the Indian in this little child. To the point of stripping her from her parents, taking her from her home, believing that her way of life is better than the natives. That's disgusting what these people do. Again, you can go ahead on your own if you want to read more or see more. All right, again, this article is on CBC Canada. All right. This sister right here, she was kidnapped. And this is what the government of Canada has to say about kidnapping. This is Canada Justice Law's website. Kidnapping 279. Every person commits an offense who kidnaps a person with intent. A, to cause the person to be confined or imprisoned against the person's will. To cause the person to be unlawfully sent or transported out of Canada against the person's will. That's Canada law. 12-year-old girl wanted to go home to her parents. Instead, she was transported out of Canada unlawfully without her guardian's consent. Brought over the border. This is the definition of kidnapping. And the Canada's Justice Law website says there's punishments. In the case of a first offense, 5 years. In the case of a second, 7 years. Section 279A2. Canada law, if the person referred to in paragraph 1A, B, or C, which we read in section 1B, this is kidnapping, is under 16 years of age. This sister was 12 years old. Canada law says is under 16 years of age to imprisonment for life. That is Canada law. You understand? That is Canada's constitution. Now, what is Canada going to do about this? What is Canada going to do about this story? How are they going to treat this daughter of Zion and all the other kids who went to the residential schools, who were part of the 60s scoop? They're going to tell them leave it in the past? Move on? We had no part in this? The people are old, get over it. These people have died, get over it. Let's read what the Most High believes about this. Let's read what the Black God believes about this. We're going to start off in the book of Exodus. We're going to go to the book of Exodus chapter 20. Exodus 21 and verse 16. And it says, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand. You understand? The Most High says, if you kidnap somebody, Shalom, Brak Yalla. Yahba Shemeshah Barakatha.
Shalom, Marwan, Yabashim, Shabbat.
Yeah, I'm going to take this verse from the top. If you could, Baba Kashaw, grab Exodus 21 and 16 for me.
Wakan.
We got to understand, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man, you are not a savage. The way that these people told you what your culture was, what your history was, what these people told you about your way of life is nonsense. We just read, this is Canadian law, 2022. If you kidnap a child under the age of 16 and transport them across the border, you are supposed to do life imprisonment. That's Canadian law. But are they going to do anything about this? This is your law, black man. This is your law, Native Indian man. We're about to read it. Go ahead, Brachiola, when you got it.
Exodus chapter 21, verse 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death.
Most High says, you deserve death. You kidnap a nation of people, bring them to another country, enslave them, rape, rob, and murder them. You shall be put to death. You kidnap a child, you shall be put to death. You kidnap a woman and sell her into some sex trade, you shall be put to death. That is the punishment for kidnapping. That is our law. That is our constitution. And you better believe that when we were living in the land of Israel, Levitical priests, they were going around killing people who disobeyed certain laws of the Most High. They were executing that judgment. That's why the sons of Levi were put in the position they were in. They crossed that line in the sand and they followed the Most High. And they were made priests. They were made judges. That is our law. And you better believe when we're back in rulership, we are going to uphold this law. Those Catholic priests are going around teaching the laws are done away with. Your Christian pastor is going around telling you the laws are done away with. Why would you do away with this law? Well, we're Christian now. We believe in Jesus. Now it's okay to kidnap people. Religion is disgusting. Christianity is disgusting. And the laws of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are righteous, are just, are civil. The definition of a civilization is law and order. Law and punishments, law and judgment. And this is what we've lost as a nation. We've lost those laws. We've lost those ways on how to govern ourselves as a people. Right? Let's drop that. Grab Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 11.
Khan or Khan.
And what we got to understand as a people is the Most High is going to avenge us. The Most High is going to give us justice for the things that's been happening to us. Kidnapping a 12-year-old child is never okay. It is not okay. And understand, as a people, the Most High loves us. The Most High cares for us. He's just waiting for us to obey him. Go ahead and read that when you got it.
Isaiah chapter 13, verse 11. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity.
God. The wicked will be punished. The evil will be punished. You Catholic priests, you nuns, you people in the Christian church, Canadian government, the oppressor that's over us, these other nations that oppress us, the Most High is going to punish the wicked. You are not getting away with the things you've done. Thus saith Yahweh. Keep reading.
And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease.
Come. And these devils that are over us, they are proud. That nun that took that 12-year-old girl across the border, she is proud. She is so proud that she doesn't think that what she did was wrong. That nun was so proud that she believed taking a 12-year-old girl to another country to go live with another family was right. To take a child from her home was right. There is nobody on earth more proud than this devil that's over us. There is nobody more proud than Esau. Well, it says in Obadiah, the pride of thine heart has deceived thee. The pride of Esau's heart has deceived him. He thinks he's going to get away with all the evil that he does on this earth. All the crime he does on this earth. There is nobody more proud than Esau. You understand? You can read right from the beginning, right in Genesis. The Most High said, anybody who harms Cain, anybody who touches Cain, I will punish them sevenfold. And what did one of Cain's sons do? Lamech? Lamech went and killed a man. He went and killed a man and said, surely nobody's going to touch me. Surely I'm safe.
Salakia, one, you're on mute.
Salakia. Yeah, the pride of Esau's heart has deceived him. Just read about Lamech. Right? Keep reading.
And will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible.
Keep reading.
Verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold.
God. And the Most High is saying that I'm going to come back. I'm going to execute judgment on the heathen. I need you, black man, to get yourself in order. I need you, Hispanic man, to prepare for rulership. I need you, Native Indian man, to learn how to rule your people. Rulership will come for you. But it's not going to come until you are as precious as fine gold. That's what we're doing in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We are taking men from the dirt and giving them life, giving them knowledge, wisdom and knowledge and understanding, teaching brothers how to conduct themselves, how to carry themselves, how to lead for the first time, how to make righteous judgment, how to lead their people, how to rule over their people, how to protect their people, go to war for their loved ones. Keep reading.
Even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir.
God. And if I'm not mistaken, when it's speaking about that gold in Ophir, it's talking about a gold that is so precious. It's so refined. There's nothing like it. That's the type of men that we need to be. The Most High isn't going to bring us to our land for us to rule if we are acting like these heathen. If we're going to follow the ways of the heathen. We got to become righteous, honorable men. Good fathers, good brothers. We have to act and conduct ourselves a certain way. Keep reading.
Verse 13. Therefore I will shake the heavens.
Drop down to verse 15.
Khan. Isaiah chapter 13, verse 15. Everyone that is found shall be trusted through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword.
And you better not, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man, join yourself to this oppressor. Martin Luther King went around telling us that we should integrate. All these different people telling us that we should integrate, that we should join with our oppressor, learn to live with them, learn to love them, learn how to live under them, learn how to be good slaves, learn how to say, yes, master, get along with them and their children. That's what we're taught over here in Canada. The Most High says, when I come back and give you your justice, give you the justice that's owed to you. That woman that stole you at the age of 12, kidnapped you and sold you to another people, or brought you to another family. Justice is coming for that. when I come back to avenge you, you better not be joined to them. You better not be acting like them, living like them, following their religion, eating the food they eat, celebrating New Year's, celebrating Christmas. Because if you join yourself with them, I'm going to kill you too. I'm going to destroy you too. You act like the heathen, you will not be a man that is refined as fine gold. You are not a man who has turned yourself from the heathen and joined back to the covenant with the Most High. Return back to your laws, statutes, and commandments. Return back to your way of life, your heritage, your inheritance. You want to be stubborn and stiff-necked and not follow me? I'm going to turn my back on you too. Why? Because I love you. The way you're acting is destroying you. The way you act as a people, it is destroying you. And I will never allow it. Keep reading.
Verse 16. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes.
The Most High will destroy their children too. You think just because that nun died that you're not going to get justice? Most High says, I'll kill their children too. The people that they love. The people that they hold dear. Keep reading.
Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished.
God. All the evil, wicked things that they did to us as a people. Justice is coming for that. Jump down to verse 19.
Isaiah chapter 13, verse 19. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
God. Understand where you're living. This is the land of your captivity. This is Babylon, the great whore. You understand? This is Babylon, the great whore. And this place is going to be destroyed. Just as the Most High destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Don't think that Christ is coming back to love everybody. Christ is coming back to execute judgment on the heathen. Christ is coming back to save you from this place, to save you from this madness, save you from this oppression. When he comes back, you better be in order. You better be segregated from them, separated from them. Act like a holy people, like you were commanded to be. Right? Matter of fact, drop that, go to Leviticus, what is that, 20? So like, one second. Let's jump to Leviticus. I think it's chapter 20 and verse 23. Leviticus 20. Yeah, grab Leviticus 20 and verse 22.
Khan, the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 22. Ye shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments and do them.
God. Moses told the children of Israel, told blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments and do them. Everything I order you to do this day, you better do it. You better listen. You better obey. Keep reading.
That the land whither I bring you to dwell therein spew you not out.
All right. Moses was taking the children of Israel to a land flowing with milk and honey, a blessed land, a beautiful place to live, a beautiful place for the children of Israel to dwell, for the children of Israel to rule. But I'm not bringing you to that yet. Khan, go ahead.
So just to make sure I understand clearly, that scripture means we have to keep the commandments in order not to get rejected by the people of the land, right?
What the Most High is saying is, I'm going to bring you to a land to rule, a land where you can dwell safely in your rulership, in your kingdom with my protection. But I am not going to give you that inheritance unless you are acting a certain way, unless you are obeying me. Does that make sense?
Khan.
Khan.
In order to have the land, we must keep the law, statutes, and commandments.
Damn right. That's it. Right? When we just read in Isaiah, the Most High said, I'm going to execute judgment on the people that are oppressing you. I am going to save you from these people. When I come back to save you, you better not be joined to them. You better not be acting like them, or else I'm going to destroy you too, because you are not worthy of the inheritance that I have for you. You're not worthy of the promises that I have for you. If you are not that man of fine gold, you will not receive these promises. You will not receive this land. You will not receive this kingdom. This kingdom is for a righteous man. This kingdom is for righteous women, for brothers and sisters of integrity. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 23. And ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation, which I cast out before you.
Read that again.
And ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation, which I cast out before you.
Come. This land that you're about to get, this inheritance that I have for you, you are not allowed to walk in the mannerisms of these nations. You are not allowed to carry yourself the way these heathen carry them. The way they act is disgusting. You are not allowed to act like them. You are going to be keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, or you're not going to receive this land. Keep reading.
For they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them.
God. The Most High looks at these other nations with disgust. The way they act is disgusting, despicable. The things they eat are disgusting. You read up in that chapter, in this chapter, the Most High is telling them, don't uncover a man's nakedness. Don't be sitting there looking at pornography. Don't be a peeping Tom. Don't sleep with your brother's wife. Don't commit any of these disgusting sexual deviancies that I spoke about in this chapter. That's what the heathen do. That's why I look at them with disgust. Don't sleep with your daughter. Don't sleep with your father like the Moabites. You see what the Moabites did? Two sisters got their father drunk and laid down with him. You better not act like these people. And when Christ comes back, it's the same thing. You better not be joined to these people. You better not be a good Catholic, a good Christian, a good Muslim, a good Canadian citizen, celebrating Christmas and New Year's, all these different holidays. The things that the heathen do are disgusting. Passing laws that a man can marry another man, that a woman can marry a woman. That's Canadian law, and that is disgusting. Christ said you better not be joined with them. Keep reading.
Verse 24. But I have said unto you, you shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that floweth with milk and honey. I am the Lord your God, which have separated you from other people.
God. You understand? The Most High says, I have an inheritance for you. I have blessings for you. There's things that I've promised your forefather Abraham. This inheritance is for you. These promises are for you. That if you want to inherit this land, you better not act like these other nations. Read that last part in verse 24.
Which have separated you from other people.
God. Read up one more line.
I am the Lord your God,
I am the
which have
Lord.
separated you from other people.
God. I am the Lord your God. I am Yahweh, your power, your authority, your head, your leader, your father. The father of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. The authority of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That is who I am. And these promises are for you. And I've chosen to separate you from these people. I've chosen to separate you from the Africans, separate you from the Asians, separate you from the Europeans. I have chosen to do these things. Little Billy on the street, little Billy that lives on your street across the street, you are not allowed to hang out with him. Karen, who lives on the house beside you, you are not allowed to marry her. You're not allowed to sleep with her. You're not allowed to touch her. You're not allowed to worship her gods. You're not allowed to take on her culture. Don't bring Karen home. Don't bring Billy over to this house. What Billy eats, you better not eat. Most High has separated you from these people. And he has the authority to do so. Keep reading.
Verse 25. Ye shall therefore put difference between clean beasts and unclean, and between unclean fowls and clean.
Read.
And ye shall not make your souls abominable by beast or by fowl, or by any manner of living thing that creepeth on the ground, which I have separated from you as unclean.
God. The Most High is all about separation. The Most High is all about segregation. Christians out here saying I.S.U.P.K is teaching hate. You're teaching hate. You're preaching hate. Supposed to love everybody. We're all supposed to hold hand in hand and love one another. People that tell you that, they are liars. They are lying on the Bible. They don't know the Bible. They don't understand the Bible. They don't understand what hate is. Hate is a nun stealing a 12-year-old girl and bringing her to another house, bringing her across the country, bringing her into another country. That's hate. Telling blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to love one another, that is not hate. The Most High has separated us. The Most High separated what we can eat and what we cannot eat. The Most High told us pork is abominable. Shrimp, crab, shrimp, crab, and lobster is disgusting. Bat is disgusting. You are not allowed to eat these things. These things are disgusting. Got to understand who we are. Keep reading.
Verse 26. And ye shall be holy unto me.
That is a
For
command. That is an order. Ye shall be holy. Ye shall be separate. That is an order. To be different from everybody else. Not to be like everybody else. That is an order. To separate yourself. Keep reading.
For I, the Lord, am holy.
Because the Most High is separate from everybody else. The Most High is different from everybody else. And that is what he wants for us. Christ looked at the Pharisees and said, "What's wrong with you? Didn't you know it was said in your law that ye are gods?" Reading the book of Psalms, letting blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans know that you are powers. You are authorities on this earth. You are not like everybody else. Ye are gods. You're not supposed to be like these other people. Ye are holy. And your Father is holy. So get yourself in order. You can't be like everybody else. You can't eat what they eat. You can't watch what they watch. You can't act how they act. Ye are holy. Keep reading.
And have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine.
The Most High severed you from other people. The Most High separated you from these other people. The Most High is racist. As racist as could be. You understand?
Khan.
The Most High is not for integration. The Most High has divided you from everybody else. We got to shake off what they taught us in Christianity. Shake off these dumb philosophies of men where they say we all bleed red. Every animal on earth bleeds red. Does that mean you're some starfish in the ocean too? You're just like that piranha in the sea because you both bleed red? That's foolery. That's foolishness. That's philosophies and traditions of men. When you look at creation, everything is different. Not sure. So, everything on earth is different. The trees are different. The animals are different. Dogs look different from one another. You got some good attack dogs, some good guard dogs, some good dogs that are good at, what do they call that? Good sheep herders. You understand? Animals are different. The fish are different. And so are people. We are not all the same. And that's something that we need to be proud of. That's something that we need to take pride in as a people. We need to take back our heritage, take back our culture. All right. Let's drop that. Let's go to Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1.
Khan. This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together, ye gather together, O nation not desired.
This is what the Most High wants for us. Wants us to gather together, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, to unite, to be unified. For brothers and sisters to unite. The family, the nation of Israel, to unite. To gather ourselves together. Not to join with these other nations. Not to join with this oppressor that's over us. But to gather ourselves together. Did you finish that verse?
Khan.
God. Gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. Every nation on earth looks down on Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Like we're savages. Like that nun told that little 12-year-old girl, 1 little, 2 little, 3 little savages. These other nations look down on us. We are that nation that is not desired. And it's about time that we start learning how to love one another. Keep reading.
Verse 2. Before the decree, bring forth. Before the
the
day,
decree bring forth. Keep reading.
before the day pass as the shaft,
Read.
before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you.
The Most High said, you better not be joined with them when I come back, or I'm going to destroy you too. You better not be joined to these other nations, or I'm going to destroy you too. You better gather yourselves together before I come back, before my anger reaches you. Keep reading.
Before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
The Most High will punish you. The Most High is angry at what these heathen are doing to us. The Most High is angry at what this oppressor is doing to his children. And judgment is coming for them. But when that judgment comes, if you're sitting here acting like them, living like they live, his anger is going to reach you. Keep reading.
Verse 3. Seek ye the Lord.
Seek ye the
All the
Lord. This
meek
is
of
an
the earth.
order. This is a commandment. Seek ye the Lord. Christ told you, love the Most High with all your heart, your mind, your strength, your soul. Seek the Lord. The Lord our God is one Lord, one power, one authority over the nation of Israel. And you better keep your eyes on him. Better focus on pleasing him. Understand who you are as a people. Keep reading.
All ye meek of the earth.
All ye the meek of the earth. Who is the meek of the earth?
Salaka on the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
Damn right. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the meek of the earth. We are the people that are oppressed. We are the people that are low, in a low state. We aren't running around saying that we're better than everybody else. Our women are out buying wigs, blonde straight hair to put on their heads so that they can look like their oppressor. Black man putting on a suit and a tie, shaving off his beard so he can look like his oppressor. Why? Because we don't think big of ourselves. We don't think that we're a great nation. We think as a people, if we make it out of here and go start playing sports, we become some big rapper making millions of dollars, then we need to leave the hood, leave the ghetto, and go marry Karen. We find ourselves a good white girl. Go buy a house in a good white neighborhood. Why? Because we don't think high of ourselves. We don't think that we're something. We're a destroyed people. Keep reading.
Which have brought his judgment. Seek righteousness. Seek meekness.
Read.
It may be, ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger.
Come. And if we would seek righteousness, we would humble ourselves down and start obeying the Most High. Understand that the way we've been living is bad for us. The decisions we've been making have been poor decisions. Understand as a people that we don't know any better. We don't know the right way to live. We don't understand what's good for us. We would humble ourselves down and seek righteousness. Learn to obey the laws, statutes, and commandments. Learn to follow the Most High. Obey the Most High. If we would seek righteousness, be holy, be different from everybody else, then we don't got to worry about the Most High's anger. You understand? Jump to Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 32.
Wakan. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, verse 32. Behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams, saith the Lord.
Again? Slacky, let me get with you. Read that one more time.
Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 32. Behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams, saith the Lord.
Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. I have a dream that black people and white people will be united. That's what Martin Luther King said. Our parents migrated over here to Canada, left the Caribbean islands, migrated over here so that they could have a so-called better way of life. That they could come live over here with their daddy, their oppressor, their slave master. Partake in his riches. All these vain dreams, all these vain goals, vain visions. All these people that try to feed us these lies that we should integrate, and that's good for us. Keep reading.
And do tell them, and cause my people to err by their lies and by their lightness.
The people that told us these things, they caused us to err. My people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, to believe in things they should never believe in. To follow a way of life that they are not supposed to follow. Keep reading.
Yet I sent them not, nor commanded them.
God. The Most High didn't tell Martin Luther King to tell blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to join with their oppressor. That dream that he had did not come from the Most High. Those dreams that our parents had did not come from the Most High. That pastor that told you that we should integrate, that we should forgive this oppressor, forgive him and give all our love to him. Most High did not send them or command them to say those things. Keep reading.
Therefore they shall not profit this people at all, saith the Lord.
At all. Nothing that these people tell you to do will profit you. Which is why your life is so destroyed today, Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. You've been told lies. You've been told things that do not profit you. You were told that you should live some monogamous lifestyle, that a man should only have one wife. You followed that lie. You followed that thing that didn't profit you. And now you're divorced, paying child support. Your woman left you because she believed that you didn't have the right to have another wife. Left you and went to the next man that had 20 different wives. Quote unquote, cheated on you the same way the other man cheated on you. Your mother's telling her daughter, don't ever let a man cheat on you. Meanwhile, you have a brother in another country that you've never met, from another woman that you've never met. These things that you were taught, they didn't profit you. All that pork you're eating, now you're on some deathbed with diabetes. All these different heart problems. Canada said weed was legal. Now you're out smoking the most. Can't hold down a job because you're high every day. Not taking care of any of your responsibilities. Not protecting your woman. Not raising your kids. Because you're smoking weed all day playing video games. Integration is bad for us. Integration doesn't teach us how to love each other. Yeah. Drop that, grab John chapter 13.
John 13,
verse 33. John chapter 13 and verse 33, Baba Kasha.
There's the book of John, chapter 13, verse 33. Little children, yet a little while I am with you.
Come. This is Christ speaking. This is red letter. Christ is saying, little children, pay attention while I'm with you. Keep reading.
Ye shall seek me, and as I said unto the Jews, whither I go, ye cannot come. So now I say to you.
Come. Christ said, seek me. Salakia Brakia Allah. Who is Christ's little children?
The nation of Israel, Adawan.
The nation of Israel. Christ said, seek me. He was sitting with the Jews. He was dwelling amongst the Jews. He was teaching the Jews. He was leading the Jews, giving them knowledge. And he told them, while I am with you, seek me, follow me, follow my example, live how I live. Keep reading.
Verse 34. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye
Read.
love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another.
This is what Christ said. That you follow my example. That you love another Israelite as I have loved you. You love another black man as I have loved you. All your Christian pastors are telling you to be like Christ. Your Catholic Church is telling you, what would Jesus do? Jesus would love another black man. Jesus would love another Hispanic man. Jesus would love a Native Indian woman. Jesus would say there's no greater thing than black love. Black love, black love. Black on black love, black on brown love. This is what I do. Follow my example. Treat each other how I treat you. That is what Christ said. Christ didn't say give your love to another nation. Christ said follow my example. Love another black, Hispanic, and Native American man the way that I love you. Keep reading.
Verse 35. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another.
This is how you know you're a disciple of Christ. You love another black, Hispanic, or Native American man. You love your nation the way Christ loved his nation. You do that by keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. You can read that in the book of, read 2 John in verse 6. And this is love, that we walk in his commandments. That we don't kidnap one another. Like that nun did to that 12-year-old girl. That you don't lie to one another. That you don't steal from one another. That you don't sleep with another man's wife. That you don't covet another man's belongings. That you teach your kids how to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. What to eat and what not to eat. Not to put your hands on your wife. Not to put your hands on another brother. To forgive one another. To be long-suffering from one another. Not to abandon one another. But to love each other the way Christ taught us to love. You understand? Let's drop that. Let's go to John 15 and verse 18.
The book of John, chapter 15, verse 18. If the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you.
Come. Understand that Christ loved blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans better than anybody else ever will. Christ was the greatest example of black love. You understand? Christ wasn't going around integrating with these nations. Christ was loving his people. Just like these Christians are out on the street telling I.S.U.P.K that you're teaching hate. You're teaching people to separate. You're teaching people to segregate from one another. Well, guess what? They hated Christ too. People hated Christ. And if you're going to follow his example, people are going to hate you too. You separate yourself from other people, they are going to hate you too. You give your love to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans and nobody else, they are going to hate you too. But that's what's required if you want this inheritance. You want the kingdom of heaven, you got to show love for your people. You got to marry another Black, Hispanic, or Native American woman. Just like Christ would have. It's in the law not to marry a heathen. You better believe Christ would have never married a heathen. He kept all the laws, statutes, and commandments. Drop that, go to Luke. Go to Luke chapter 12 and verse 51.
In the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division.
Christ came to bring division. Christ came to bring segregation, separation. Christ ordered you to do the same thing that the Most High told you. The same thing that Moses told Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Christ said, love Black people, love Hispanic people, love Native American people. You got to love your own. Separate yourself from these monsters. Because the way they act, they disgust the Most High. The way they live, they disgust the Most High. And that is not the life you're supposed to live. It's supposed to be a holy people. You understand? Let's grab one more verse. Let's go to 2 John chapter 1. There's only one chapter. 2 John 1 and verse 6.
Khan.
All right. We got to stop giving our love to this oppressor. You understand? Salaki, sometimes I'm on that app called Clubhouse. If anybody doesn't know, it's a social app where they have a voice. You're able to speak to people, brothers and sisters. And I can't tell you how many times all I hear is every day Black people talking about how they can save the white man. Every time I go on there, all they're ever debating, can white people be saved? Can our oppressor be saved? How do we get our oppressor in the kingdom? And Christ told you, I came to bring division. And the people that follow me, they are going to be hated because I was hated. I gave my love to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. I told that devil that came up to me begging for a blessing, I was not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. I only came for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They're the people I came to love. I told my disciples, don't go in the way of the Gentiles, but rather go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Go and wake my people up. Give them life. Teach them these laws, statutes, and commandments. Teach them how to treat one another. Go ahead and read that verse.
2 John chapter 1, verse 6. And this is love, that ye walk after his commandments.
And that's love. That's the love Christ gave to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He was perfect. He kept all the laws, statutes, and commandments. And he commanded you to be perfect. He commanded you to love blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Commanded you to be holy, separate, segregated from everybody else. Giving your love to your people. That is love, keeping the commandments. Keep reading.
This is the commandment, that as ye have heard from the beginning, ye should walk in it.
This commandment, we heard it from the beginning. Right when Adam got the breath of life. Breath of life being a metaphor for the laws, statutes, and commandments. And Adam taught it to his son. He showed Abel how to give an acceptable sacrifice, an acceptable offering. Showed Abel how to give his best to the Most High. And Abel passed it on to his sons and his daughters. And they passed it on to their sons and their daughters. Right down to Noah. And Noah was a righteous man in the sight of the Most High's eyes. He kept the laws, statutes, and commandments. He received that breath of life. That light that guided him on how to make decisions. Scriptures say the law is a light. The law is a lamp. It guides us. You turn a flashlight on, it helps direct you so you can see what's in front of you, so you don't trip, so you don't hurt yourself, so that something doesn't come out of the woods and surprise you, so that you can cross the street, so that you can see another car coming. This is what this law does. It guides us. And Noah had that light. And the Most High was with him because of it. And Noah gave that to his sons. And his sons, right down to Abraham. And the Most High honored and respected Abraham. And blessed Isaac. And blessed Jacob. And here we are today in 2022. The I.S.U.P.K. since 1969 is telling you, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man, to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. To use this light, this lamp to guide you so that you know what not to do. So that you can avoid evil and avoid danger. So that you can escape the wrath of the Most High. Like he said in Isaiah, when he comes back, you better not be joined to them because you are holy. You're not to live like they live. You're to keep our laws, statutes, and commandments, our constitution. These laws were given from the beginning. You better believe Christ kept these laws. If you're a disciple of Christ, you will keep these laws too. And you will be hated for it too. You understand? So with that, we're going to end Tuesday's Night Brother class. Let's clap it up. All right, shalom to everybody in the chat. Yahabashim and Shabrakatha. Make sure you hit those sign-in links. I'll have the sign-up links in the chat. Make sure you sign out before the class ends. I'll make sure I get them in the comments before I shut down the stream. With that, we're going to give the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are here to shed themselves of the world. They need transportation. A teacher will arrange it. After this 6 month period, a brother or sister must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find it in Numbers 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 to 10. Ma'ashura means tenth in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. We have the Feast of Purim coming up next, which is on Monday the 14th of February. You can read about it in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verses 20 to verse 31. We also got the Passover coming up. The Passover is around the corner. Those hotels have been filling up. Make sure you get a hold of your camp leader. Do your best to get out to the Lord's Passover. It's going to be in Cocoa Beach, Florida. All right, make sure you get a hold of your camp leader if you need any more details. But if any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. With that said, men of Israel, Imajim, which means stand. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers and one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat. Imajim, Barak, Yahabashim Shabrak Yad Yamatah, Sar Akwathin. The sisters should be sitting in the left of the classrooms. Men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat. Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Alathan Bashim Yahushai, Yad Yamatah. Class dismissed. All right, Shalom Israel, Shalom Canada.
All jokes aside, you know how niggas be like, I'm this and that for life. This and that for life. I'm always for life, nigga. This a blow. Hey, yo, Madara. Here go a class for you, my nigga. 140 for the rubber. The world turned its back on me. I'm a cripple. We got soldiers. He got soldiers, but I got different ones. Ain't no way out. I'll tell you what. Don't pray for nothing. Nothing's in the curse. We can't forgive what's forbidden. Remain in them churches. Trust in the Lord, but please forgive me for the times that I did. And bring his gift. Have your respect to your prince. Be about your business. This Lord teaching damn sinners. Look, trying to pick up with a blind foot. Hey, they said there'll be many matches. I'm just grinding for my time shell. The devils and clan fair. They hunt you like bad pal. But ain't no getting out the game like you munchie. Or if you take that oath, it's a done deal. They try to deal death to a priest. You won't make it out in one piece. So you can stand. Just make sure you got the heart. Say your name 3 times. It is death to his part. Look. So how you feel about this truth I done shown? This ain't it like you think, little nigga. I should want even your own people.